Wow, it's hip hop's 40th birthday. I just think that's like the most beautiful thing ever, you know, because like hip hop is the epitome of like organic culture. Like this is just raw, been created from the grassroots, from the street up, you know, to like worldwide fame. And I mean, gosh, how many people do I know who have made a living out of like hip hop? So thanks a lot, Cool Herc and the man there, because I'm eating because of you guys. But yeah, I just think not only in terms of like people making a name for themselves and a life for themselves because of hip hop, but yeah, just also just spreading this beautiful culture like worldwide. Like I'm so grateful. I think it's wicked. How did I get into hip hop? Well, my earliest memory of hip hop is listening to Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick in my sister's bedroom, and that was probably, maybe I was about 5 years old then, kind of thing. So I don't even really remember the first time like, oh my god, what's this music? It's just hip hop was always there in my life, really, thanks to my sisters. And then it wasn't until much later when I was like a teenager where I really got serious about the idea of DJing. And then I was working in Deal Real record store, the original Deal Real on Knoll Street in Soho, London. And it was just ill because that was like the whole record store lifestyle and scene was really like strong then in London. So I'm so pleased that I came up through that vinyl era, through that record shop era and everything, and really, yeah, that's where I like cut my teeth as a DJ and like stepped up my game, like knowledge of hip hop and everything to the next level. So yeah, it's a bit different now because now everyone's online and stuff and it's all virtual, isn't it? So I'm happy that I started in that generation. I think this is like one of the ill things about hip hop and why hip hop has like really stood the test of time is because people have been able to like adapt it. Like, you know, all these countries all over the world that I visit, people have been able to take their own interpretation of hip hop and yeah, just make it their own. And then at the same time, that has been happening over the decades, isn't it? Which is why hip hop is still like standing now too. Is it's not just been stagnant and stayed this. It's not just people beatboxing on the corner. You know, it's like people have been able to evolve it over the years. So definitely, lots of that's happened. I mean, if you just look on terms of like the whole digital evolution of music industry, like that's had a massive impact on hip hop. The fact that people, you know, now it's so much more accessible to make music yourself, like at home, whereas before, you know, you had to consider going out and teething a pair of turntables kind of thing, or a, you know, whatever, a machine or something to make beats on. So now it's so much more accessible to make music, it's so much more accessible to find music, yeah, where everybody, the world is a smaller place, everyone's like much more linked up globally and that, whereas yeah, before you really had to hunt and dig and like to find all this ill stuff. In a way, I think that was kind of cool because it made you really appreciate, you know, when you just got that little crumb of goodness, because, you know, you had to work so hard to get it, whereas like now it's like much more disposable, isn't it? Because it's like, oh, I'll just find something else online. But no, it's still like a beautiful thing. I think what excites me about the future of hip hop is to think that there are like all these dope young artists who are really passionate about like the culture in its like pure essence, you know, like I think that is so dope, and to see that they're like keen to keep the flag alive and to like acknowledge our heroes, and then even going deeper back beyond that to the, you know, other types of music that influenced hip hop to start in the first place. Like I think that's a wonderful thing. And then obviously what scares me about like the future of hip hop is now that we have like such a heavy corporatization of music, and you know the way corporate entities are dominating the music industry, that has an impact on like the kind of output that comes gets promoted kind of thing. And you know they have a different sort of playing field to like what us guys are cutting out ourselves here sort of thing. So I think there's always going to be those corporate entities now that they've discovered this ill stuff that we're doing over the last 40 years who want to get a piece of that pie, you know, they want to get some of that cheddar sort of thing. So I think that's kind of scary to think how those evil buggers are gonna, you know, still be fiending off of us. They're like leeches in it sort of thing. But you know, there's always going to be the dope people with like the right intention in their heart too, I think. Oh, music, all music inspires me. Like, you know, I'm someone where I just think like there's only two genres in the world, good music and bad music, you know. Like, as soon as you start putting rules and regulations on like, oh, I don't like this because it's punk, or I don't like that because, you know, it has rapping in it, like, you're just missing out on life. Like, really, music is just the creative organization of sounds, isn't it? So I get excited about that, whether that's classical music, like listening to an orchestra of 100 people is like incredible, like sensational experience kind of thing, like jazz music, rock music, live music, I think is something that really excites me, like to see musicians like human beings vibing and, you know, just communicating non-verbally is just like such a dope thing to me. But yeah, I'm just a student of music of the entire world. I love it all. In the UK hip hop scene right now, I think there's so many ill cats around. I mean, obviously you've got like people like Black Twang and Task Force, like these ill cats who have like really paved the way for a lot of the newer artists to do their thing. And then you've got cool dudes like Michael Parkinson. I really love his records that he's just put out. You've got the whole Y&R camp. Eat Good Records, I love those dudes. Like, you know, I'm always thinking to myself, I kind of wish I lived in Birmingham just so I could like be hanging out with Eat Good Records crew. Like, you know, they're doing really cool stuff. That's one of the dope things as well, I think, in the UK, is how there's people like in all corners of the country like holding it down, you know, and we really need like everyone to do that, because like we can't all just be doing it on our own in these places, sort of thing. So I just think, yeah, there's so many talented cats, people like Black the Ripper. I love, like, you know, the end of things that he's holding down too. So yeah, there's just like so many talented ill cats. Keep up the good work.